Welcome to the I'm recording this podcast no matter what podcast. That ain't the name. Hold on. Welcome back or welcome into the We Walk Free podcast. I am your host, Sarita J. And guess what, y'all? It is Mindful Mondays. And as you know, Mindful Mondays is where we create an awareness to what's going on in our life. We breathe. We take a praise break. We thank God for all that He's doing and all that He's going to do in our lives. And as many of you know, this series that we're in is called the Strong Friend Struggle. All right. And so tonight, we are talking about the strong friend who is not always nice and the nice friend who is not always strong. And if I was to be perfectly honest, I have been the nice friend who has not been always strong. Okay. I know the role all too well. Not only that, I am a recovering people pleaser. I'm currently in a 12-step program. I'm kidding. I am currently in the process of recovering from being a people pleaser. Um, it's challenging because I see the old patterns and the old ways that I used to be, and I'm like, wow. But I'm an origin girl. So I had to go back and figure out when did I start doing this and where did this come from? Okay. We'll get into that later. But on tonight, we're just going to talk about some discoveries that I had. So the first thing that I want to mention, and I don't know if you live your life this way, but this is a way that I live my life. So I am a golden rule girl. What that means is I desire to live my life and do unto others as I would have them do unto me. That's how I live my life. However, in my discovery, while I'm in recovery, was that was a golden rule girl, but with no boundaries. Okay, and that's not good. What else? The other things I discovered was that the scales would be unbalanced, and basically what I'm saying is this. So, if the scales were balanced, then it was like iron sharpening iron, and we're pouring into each other. No people pleasing because I don't need to people please. We're on the same level. Iron sharpening iron, we good. But if I meet you and I feel like there's something that I can learn from you, you have wisdom, you have experiences that I've never ever experienced ever before in my life, or whatever the case might be. And I feel like I can glean from you. What I realized on this journey is that I was fawning all over the place. People pleasing at an all-time high. And what I noticed that I would begin to do is I would begin to make this person and or persons an idol. They would be misplaced in my life. And I noticed that I would be putting their stuff on my plate. If they had stuff, sometimes they didn't have stuff, but I would be putting their stuff on my plate because nice friends and strong friends oftentimes take on other people's stuff. Our plate is already running over, but because we're nice and sometimes because we're strong, we want to save everybody. We put stuff on our plate that we were not even called to put on our plate. Mind you, we busy too, but when you people please, you're not busy. They say, "Oh, you got something going on?" No, I'm not. I'm good. Knowing good and well, you have plenty of things going on your plate. What I have learned through this process is that people pleasing does not pay. Not the way you think it's going to. Okay, I got paid in resentment and bitterness because I would get in my car after I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing with the people pleasing and be like, oh, why did I do this? I don't even want to be here. Or why did I even come? I don't. And so when you're doing all of that, then you need to sit with yourself and figure, okay, well, why are you doing it? If you get in a car complaining about why you're here, then why did you do it in the first place? And whenever you're people pleasing, you are now putting yourself in a particular position with whomever the person or persons are. And they are more than likely expecting you to show up because you done shown that you're loyal. You done shown that you down like 4 flat tires. You done shown that you ride or die, but really you dying on the inside. You ride or die, all right. You're dying on the inside because you are abandoning yourself for the sake of others. And that doesn't mean that whoever the others are toxic. That doesn't mean that whoever the others are abusive or they're using you. Sometimes that's not the case. But you're trying to fulfill something inside of you. And so I call it a spoon with two open ends. It's a spoon with two ends on it. There is no handle. The handle is in the middle. It's open on this side. It's open on that side. They're feeding you and you're feeding yourself. And that's not how it's supposed to be. And so I discovered that resentment is a receipt for abandonment. That's what you get from people pleasing. You're going to be upset with yourself. And I managed to abandon myself so many times until I had nothing left. And I had to sit with myself and say, you're doing things that you don't want to do. Why are you doing that? You're spending way too much time doing this. Why are you doing that? Now, people are expecting you to show up a certain way because you've been fawning this whole time. And I had this discovery today. Here was a discovery. Because, when you're a people pleaser, you're like, I don't want to say that because I don't want to be doing too much. Or I don't want to say that because I don't want to, And what was I felt Holy Spirit said to me was, you're already doing too much by thinking you're doing too much. So go on and do what you know you're supposed to do. Excuse me? Come again? You're already doing too much by thinking you're doing too much. So go on and do what you know you're supposed to do. Okay. And I went ahead and did what I was supposed to do. And just killed the noise. Because people pleasers overthink. All right. We take responsibility for other people's emotions. Ask me how I know. We take responsibility for other people's emotions. Well, I don't want them to feel like this. And I don't want them to feel like that. All the while, you're not caring about how you feel. You don't care about how you feel. So you're willing to make it comfortable for everybody else while you're uncomfortable. You're willing to compromise for everybody else. But you're not thinking about what's happening with you. People pleaser. And I'm not saying this. I'm not talking to you like that. I had to talk to myself like that. You know what I'm saying? I had to tell myself, girl, look at what you're doing. Like, I had to journal. Look at what you're doing, sis. You're willing to abandon yourself. And let's just go here. Are they willing to abandon themselves for you? Are they willing to compromise for you? Are they willing to do anything for you? But you got this people pleasing down to a I don't know what the word you got it down to a science. You know how to do it because you've done it so long. And now it's coming up because now you're transforming. Now you're going through this metamorphosis and you're changing. And change requires filters and boundaries. Filters, the ones you already had were dirty. It is time for you to get rid of those and get some new ones. I don't know about you, but I know a little bit about car maintenance. And when you get your oil change, they change out your filter. Because you can't put new oil, all right, in a vehicular and keep the same filter. They got to take it out and put a new one in there. So as you're going through this change and this transformation, I'm talking to the recovering people pleasers, you're going to have to change your filters. The spark plugs probably need to be changed. When was the last time you vacuumed out your car? Your heart. When was the last time you got the trash from off the floorboard in your car? Your mind, what you thinking? When was the last time you really just sat with yourself and said, I'm doing too much for real. Like I'm people pleasing way too much. And I need to start standing up for myself. And I need to not feel guilty about saying no. And let me tell you something. Some of them people you're going to say no to, they might think you're trying to be funny. They might think, oh, why are you acting funny? I'm really not acting funny. It might seem like I'm acting funny. I just had to reel it in because I literally was doing too much. And I had to get to the point where I had to say, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. No, I'm not going to be able to come. No, I'm not going to be able to pick them up. No, I'm not going to be able to give you the money. No, I had to set the boundary. Because while I'm over here doing unto others as I would have them do unto me, I'm just all over the place. No boundaries, people pleasing, going here, going there, doing this, doing that, and exhausted on the inside. Feeling I'm abandoning myself on the inside. So this is a reforming. It's a reformation. It is a reshaping of how you think, of how you see yourself, of how you see others. And let me tell you something. God delivers us one layer at a time. I used to say a long time ago, he is peeling my onion. All right. If you ever watched Shrek, Shrek told Donkey that he was an onion. Because ogres have layers. That's what he said. Sorry, I got kids, love Shrek. Anyway, but we are multi-layered with many, many experiences. A lot of trauma, a lot of things that we've gone through. And I've heard people say, oh, well, you just need to give it to God. Oh, well, you just need to give it to God. Girl, I need to give it to God and walk through this with God. It's more than just, oh, you need to give it to God. I need to give it to him, and we also need to walk this out so I can understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and let me not repeat it. And that does not mean that you won't still repeat it, but you will be more aware, and you'll be like, oh, okay, let me pull back. I feel that little people pleaser coming on. Let me get on back over here and not abandon myself, because when you've done something for so long, it's hard to stop doing the thing that you were once doing. My friend used to say, old habits die hard. And they do. So what we're doing is we're learning, we're releasing, and we're declaring. That is what we are doing in this particular series and in this season. Strong friends also have a hard time saying no, but we're not going to get into that right now. So I'm going to read this because it's just about the people pleasers. And it says, people pleasers have immense difficulty setting boundaries. They end up absorbing the emotional weight of their entire social circle without ever asking for the same support in return. Don't be asking for help because you feel like you're doing too much. You don't ask because you feel like you're doing too much. That goes for people pleasers and strong friends. Strong friends like, I got it. No, you don't. The strong friends like, no, I'm good. No, you're not. And the people pleasers like, oh, what you need? Oh, you need this? Oh, you need that? Oh, ain't nobody really even checking really on the people pleaser. Why? Because they always, it seems like the people pleaser is good. Why? Because they always available. They ain't got nothing going on. They always over here. They always kicking it. They always coming. They always buying the groceries, picking up the kids, cleaning up my house. They always helping do stuff. So they good. They ain't got no issues. They good. If they do have them, they ain't talking to me about them. So this creates a lopsided dynamic where friends naturally turn to them for everything, oblivious to the fact that their strong friend is running on empty. Because the strong friend and a nice friend can mask how they feel all day, because it ain't about how I feel. It's about what I got to do for everybody else. It's about what I got to do for everybody else. People pleaser, oh, it don't matter. You need me to come at 1 a.m., I'm coming. Depending on the circle, I'm talking about people pleasers, because let me tell you something. There are a few people that if they call me at 1 a.m., I'm coming. And that ain't got nothing to do with people pleasing. I'm coming, because what you need, what we finna do? What you need me to do? You need me to bring the car or the truck? What you need me to do? Because I'm coming. Okay, if you calling me at 1 in the morning, there is a problem. What we doing? Where we riding to? Like, yeah, I just need to say that. Okay, that ain't got to do with no people pleasing. That's I'm down like 4 flats for real. People pleasing to the side. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so I just wanted to say that we are releasing, we are learning, releasing, and declaring. in this series and in this season of our lives. We have to be better so we can do better. And the goal is to please the Father. And I know that doing unto others as we would have them do unto us, I know that pleases the Father, but the Father also wants us to have boundaries. You know why? Because Jesus had boundaries. Ask me how I know. Every single story in the epistles talks about how Jesus was surrounded by the crowd. Jesus fed the crowd. Jesus healed the crowd. People came. He had to teach in the boat. People came. He had to teach on the side of the mountain. He was in the synagogue. He was here. People, all of this. And at the end of it all, guess what he did? Disappeared in the crowd and went on up the mountainside to pray, to go relax, to go rejuvenate. And Jesus would be considered a strong friend. He would be. Because you know why I say that? Because when Martha and Mary, when Lazarus died, they was like, had you been here, he wouldn't have died. Where you been, strong friend? That's your friend. You let your friend die? Where would you at? Of course, we know the story. I'm just saying. Jesus would be considered a strong friend. He would be the one that everybody called when something was going on. He beat strangers on the... Can you heal my son? He walk about people. Do you want to be healed? You know what I'm saying? What would he do? He would steal away. He had to. We don't steal away. Because there is something inside of a people pleaser. There's something inside of a strong friend. There's a need that needs to be met. And we're going to talk about that. There's a need that needs to be met. This is why we're people pleasing. This is why we're the strong friend and we just got to rescue everybody. You just got to, oh, I'm coming. So we're going to get into it. Here is something that you can do this week. It's homework. Okay. I've been doing it. I've been making a point to journal daily. In your journal time and quiet time with the Father this week, ask him to show you areas in your life where healthy boundaries need to be established. Ask him to show you where you may be abandoning yourself in an effort to serve, help, learn, grow, or gain approval. Ask him to reveal any relationships, priorities, perspectives that may be out of alignment with his will for your life. Invite him to search your heart and uncover your blind spots. You never know the blind spot. You never know the blind spot could be what's keeping you feeling bound. Remember, this is not about shame. It is about awareness. And let me tell you, I can't shame nobody. You understand? Because I'm walking this out as I'm in this podcast with y'all. Every episode is me walking it out. Literally, I'm putting on my shoes, taking y'all on the journey because the Lord is walking this out with me and I'm walking it out with y'all in real time. So no shame, no guilt, no judgment. I pray that the series, the discussions, the interviews, I pray that it touches, even if it's one person, I pray that it touches someone. And the reason why I say that is because there has been a level of difficulty trying to get this done, trying to get this recorded. Some of it me, some of it outside of me. And so what do I believe? Since there has been such a tug of war on even just being able to sit down and record and sit down and edit and all that has been a challenge, I believe that deliverance is going to happen. I believe breakthrough is going to happen. I believe lives are going to be changed because of this podcast series. That's what I believe. Because gone are the days that we abandon ourselves. Gone are the days that we compromise for other people. Gone are the days that we don't have boundaries. We have to have boundaries. Because at the end of the day, when you get on the airplane about to go down, the first thing you got to do is put your oxygen mask on. Okay? That's what you have to do first. So once you get your breath, then you can help other people get theirs. All right? Here are your scriptures for the week. Philippians 4:6-7, which talks about being anxious for nothing. And 1 Peter 5:7, casting all your cares upon him because he careth for you. I love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.